Hello everyone, it's Ange de Lumière. I'm coming for Freebie Monday to talk to you about the power of music and especially using your music player, whether it's on your phone or you have a separate music player, to uplift you, to raise your vibe, but also to get messages. So just a second, my keyboard just fell down when I came online. Whoopsie! This is a bit of a subject that surprised me at first when I started using my iPhone to get guidance from my business guides, but also from my business or for anything. And I don't know how many people teach about this, but let's put it this way. The reason why I'm coming here today to talk to you about this is because until you develop your own intuition, until you become tuned in and understand the guidance that you receive, and we receive, all of us receive guidance, whether we believe in guides or not, whether we believe in intuition or not. Hi Deb, we're constantly being guided by the universe as to which path is the easiest for us to get to where we want to be. So I do teach intuition to my clients, and I love to do that in sessions. But until you feel that you can really trust your intuition, there's this little game that you can play with your phone that can actually give incredible guidance to you, and it's super reliable. So if you're interested to try it out, what I suggest that you do after you watch this Facebook Live is that you go into whatever app you have on your phone, set your intent to the message that you like to get. So just before doing this live, actually, I did exactly that with my phone. I set my intent and I asked my guides, and as I say, I talk about guides, but you don't have to believe in guides at all to do this. You can be completely, I'm saying skeptic, but you still have to have an open mind, obviously. And set your intent. So my intent was that I wanted to hear whatever I was supposed to hear before I did this Facebook Live. And what came up was a song that totally cracks me up. It's a song I've heard from when I was a child, and it always makes me want to sing and dance. And that's what I did. So I knew that what I was supposed to do before coming on to this live is to listen to some good music, have a little boogie, and that raises my vibration, which means when I come to speak to you, I feel high vibe. And that can be done in an instant. I know this is taking us slightly off track from what I was talking about, but you could very much do this every time before you post on Facebook. And you know what? You would be noticed so much better by doing it, because everything is energy, and people pick up the energy you feel when you write down, or when you come on live. It's obvious because my face is here, you see me smiling or not, you see if I'm energized. But believe me, because everything is energy, even if I just write a post, people will feel the energy of me behind that post. So even if it's just this tip, just use, and I know it's not Genius Tip Day, but I'm coming here for a freebie, so I thought I might as well throw in a tip for you. Try to listen to what is high vibe music for you before you post today, every day, in groups, on your page, everywhere. And I would say you could probably expand this to before you speak to anyone. Try to raise your vibration, because then what happens is you function from a higher perspective, from a higher vibe, and it makes everything so much easier. And I know, you know, it's not to say that you should suppress your emotions. We all have emotions, but the reason why we post in business group like this group is so that we can get traction, so that we can connect to people, so that we can interact with them. And if you come from the wrong vibration, then you're going to repel people, and that's you won't even understand why. You might use the best words ever, you might have the best opt-in, you could have an amazing freebie to offer, and nobody signs up for it. So part of it could be your vibe. So that was my tip within the freebie kind of thing. is to raise your vibration before you post, and that can be done with having a little dance or a little sing or a good laugh watching a funny video. But I want to say as well, and for those who don't know me, my name is Lange de Lumière and I'm a spiritual lawyer, which is something that always intrigues people. They want to know, what is a spiritual lawyer? I used to be actually a business lawyer, and then I trained in esoteric things such as tarot, mediumship, channeling, animal communication, you name it. I went all the way into the esoteric world, and then I came back and blended things together. And what I want to say today, which is something that's quite nobody ever taught me, but I know it from experience, is that there are DJs in heaven. There are guides in heaven who want to entertain us. Maybe they were entertainers themselves when they were alive on this planet. And they will use whatever they can use. Electronics is very, very easy to use for them to entertain you, but also to inspire you, guide you, and give you messages. So the process I would like to suggest is that you set your intent. So as I said earlier, before I came on to this live, I set my intent that I would listen, I would hear a song that would put me in the right frame of mind to do this Facebook Live. Deb says, I love this. I totally love listening to music songs to raise my vibration. Yes, I'm sorry because the longer your comment on this post, I can only see the first 3 lines. But what I want to say is not just to raise your vibration, it's also to communicate with the universe. So it's a great way to get guidance, to confirm your intuition, because at the beginning when we start listening to our intuition, it can be very difficult to make the difference between what is our mind, what is our thoughts, what is our intuition, what is even a guidance coming from another source. And so using your music player to get those messages can be like a shortcut or like a confirmation. And I'm going to give you a couple examples because this happens to me almost every day. And I wish someone had told me this ages ago so that I could get, that I could have a feeling I'm on track, for example. Or if I'm not on track, so that I get the message, what am I supposed to do instead of what I'm doing right now? How can I unblock myself? Of course, to unblock yourself, the very first way to do it is to raise your vibration, because it's almost like there's this saying that explains that you cannot solve a problem from the level of the problem. You have to go to the level of the solution, and that takes stepping out of whatever that energy of the problem is. Music can do that in a few seconds, just as of course going out for a walk in a park or having a good chat with a friend, as long as it's not about the problem and it's about something that maybe you have a good laugh or something. As I said, you can go and watch a funny video. And how does it work? It's because everything is energy. So even your phone, which is supposed to be like just a piece of metal and glass and wiring and whatever it is, it's actually very easy for our friends from the other side, let's call them that way, to influence that device. It can happen even when you Google something in your browser. You think it's random, it's the algorithm, but I've known from my guides that they tamper with the algorithm. And so the more I'm in tune with my intuition, the more I am intending to receive the right message and not thinking that I have to find all the answers, the more when I Google something, I immediately get the right answer. And I know it. It's like the universe meets me where I am because my intent is super clear. So it's playing with your music player, and I'm going to tell you a little bit the 3 steps that I believe that you should follow to get that guidance. Is a way to get guidance, to confirm your intuition, and to have fun. Make it fun, because we tend to be so serious about everything. We think like it's a matter of life and death, but it isn't. And the more playful you are, the more likely you'll be high vibe. Again, we're going to that high vibe thing. Of course, high vibe can't be something superficial. You can't just decide to be high vibe, but you can get actually from discouragement to a high vibe pretty quickly with music. That's one of the shortcuts that I find is incredible. I'm going to give you an example of what happened to me on Saturday, okay? And that shows how quickly you can go from low vibe to high vibe. Every week I go for a run on Saturday mornings, and when I got out of the car, because my husband drops me somewhere and then picks me up at the end of my run, I fell off as I came out of the car. There was I was trying to get onto the curb. There was a step that was higher than I expected, and I fell on my right side, and I scraped my knee really bad, and like almost a third of my shin, and it was really, really painful. And I decided, no, I'm still going to go for my run. I'm not going to stop myself from doing what I want to do. I love my run, and so I decided to go anyway. But of course, it was rather painful, and it was bleeding and everything, and whatever. And so of course, it doesn't hurt right away if you've been hurt, if you've injured yourself. It's numb to start with, and then the pain kicks in. And so it started to kick in, and I thought, what can I do to help myself with this process, with this pain? Because it was going to be at least a good half hour, if not an hour, before I could get to painkillers and anything that could help me with the pain. So I decided to use my my music player. And so I went, put it on shuffle, and lo and behold, I had the most amazing songs come up on my music player on my phone, and it actually really helped with the pain. So I got, the first one I got was Happy, and that's a song that regardless the mood I'm in, if I listen to it, I can't remember the name of the singer, but it's the song that my references are gonna make you laugh. I'm a mum, so it's the song that is in Despicable Me. Farrell, I think he's called, yeah. And so there was this one, and there was a couple of songs by Prince, which he always makes me smile, especially, and the one that came up was Starfish and Coffee, which is one of my absolute favorite. And before I knew it, after a couple of songs, I actually didn't feel the pain so much. I finished my run, went home, and then sorted myself out. So that's one way that you can use your music player on random or shuffle, whatever. And I thought that was pretty cool. That really made my day. And also, it's just this idea as well that you're looked after, that there's something out there that's here to comfort you when you're feeling low. And as I said, I had just injured myself. I'm not going to say pretty badly, but I have a big bruise now, and the scrape was really big. But I went from feeling, being in pain and really low vibe to high vibe in literally 10 minutes. So here's the process I want to share with you. First, you set your intent. That's really, really important. So you could say, please, and you don't have to say specifically ask to anyone in particular, I'd like to have inspiration about this or that. Then you put your music player on shuffle, and then you listen to the first song and keep an open mind. It will have a message for you. Okay? I think I'm going to give you a couple more examples, but I'm also very open to having questions from you if you're watching this. Hi, Debbie. And actually, Debbie, this is really funny because the song that I had just before I did this, I'm talking about how, Debbie, how songs, we can use our music player to access our intuition or guidance from the universe, or from our guides, or whatever we want to call them. And just before I did this Facebook Live, I decided to put my phone on shuffle, the iTunes on shuffle, and I got the song, I don't know if you'll know it, but it was a song in French called Parole, Parole by Dalila. And that song just always makes me laugh because, well, it's about this man who's trying to seduce this woman, and she's like, oh, come on, it's all just talk. I know you're just sweet talking me, and you can go and offer these words to someone else. And it's also very, for me, it always makes me sad because we used to sing this song with my children when they were little in the car on the way to school. So yeah, it always makes me smile. And it makes me want to sing, which is quite important as well. And what best way to start this Facebook Live than singing before I came on live? So I want to say, I'm going to give you a few more examples of how this has worked for me. It's 2 weeks ago already. My God, time flies. I was gifted with a scholarship for actually the Institute for Intuitive Intelligence, which is just about perfect, because I'm always looking at ways to take my intuition further and further. And believe me, I've honed it for well over 10 years. Okay, when I was a business lawyer, I used my intuition. That's what made me a really good lawyer, is that I just knew where to find information. I just knew I had a hint about what was the solution to a problem. And people love me because I found solutions for them instead of creating problems. Yes, I could identify a problem, but then immediately I would go into another kind of mode of thinking and find the solution for them. So even though I've done tarot readings professionally for well over 10 years, actually I started when my son was born, and he's 12 and a half. So that gives you an indication. 12 years of doing professional readings at fairs and things. And I still love the way that my music player can help me hone to my intuition, because even though I can do it like instantly for other people, for me, it's the hardest. So this tip could be good as well, even for people who are very intuitively trained and who want to have that little, it's almost like giving a phone call to the universe and saying, you know, like, please talk to me. And I used to do it not with my iPhone. I used to just say, please give me guidance. And then in the following 2 days, whatever conversation that was related to the problem I asked guidance about, that I would hear, whether it was a random program on the radio or on TV, or whether I was in public transportation and I was hearing someone's conversation that made complete sense, that seemed to throw a light on the problem that I had, then I knew that guidance would have come to me. Because the thing is, we don't have apparitions, okay? So you're not going to see an angel or a guide pop in front of you and give you, you know, the blessed guidance or whatever it is that you need. It would spook me anyway. I don't want that. So I much prefer if my phone gives me a message, because I can always say, it's a coincidence. I suppose this is a good subject to talk about, because a lot of people get guidance without knowing that they're getting it, and then they discard it as a coincidence. And I guess my well over 10 years of functioning from a different a different place has led me to understand that there are no coincidences. So if you have an issue on your mind and you really want to find a solution to it, and you hear a conversation randomly, because you're in a shop, for example, and let's say the person at the till talks to one of the clients about something, and it happens to be the exact thing that you're concerned about, then take it as your guidance. Just because it's two humans that talk to each other and answered your question that are completely unrelated to you doesn't mean it's not relevant to you. Does that make sense? Look at my hands moving like that crazy. So 2 weeks ago, I won a scholarship for the amazing Institute for Intuitive Intelligence, and like literally 5 minutes after I heard the news, and that was first thing in the morning, I put my music player on shuffle, and I got the Bee Gees' You Should Be Dancing, which was so appropriate, because of course I should be dancing. I should be happy. I won this scholarship. It's amazing. That's the next step on my path, and it's so incredible. So this is the little ways in which you can feel on a day-to-day basis that you are being supported by the universe. Does that make sense? And I think having this feeling that we're supported by the universe, that we don't have to do everything on our own, that we don't have to know everything, that actually, and I'm going to take it even to the next level, our business knows where we're supposed to go, and it can show us the way in that way, through songs, through a shuffle, or through a Google search, whatever it is. The universe will use any aspect it can to give you the information that you need. I wanted to share one last thing, and that was much more emotional for me, but one of my children, who's now off at uni, had a very tough year this year, and so we were both going on the ups and downs of everything that was happening, and there were times when I felt so lost. I had no idea how to help him. I had no idea how to get help for him. And so I remember once putting my, this is making me cry, but hopefully you'll forgive me for that. And I was at my wit's end, really not knowing what to do next. And sadly, his father who's not my husband, because I divorced, so I have children from a previous marriage and children with my current husband. So my ex was not helpful at all. If anything, he made things worse. And so I felt very lonely in this experience. So I put my iPhone on shuffle, and to be frank, I didn't expect much anything because I was so low at that point. And the song that came up was Dear Mama by Tupac, and I'm not too much into rap usually, but this song was just blew me away. And when I listened to it, there was so many tears that came out, and it was really beautiful. So my invitation today is to use music and use your music player to get intuition, to get confirmation of your intuition, to help you get high vibe before you post on Facebook in groups when you want to try and promote your business. And understand that this is also a great way for you to get guidance, and just recognize guidance when it comes to you. It might be a song, it might be Seem Like Nothing, and sometimes it can be just the one sentence in that song, so pay attention to the lyrics. Okay, so that was my message for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're watching the replay, feel free to ask me questions, because I haven't seen any questions so far. I hope you enjoy it, and I think I'm going to try and come live every Monday for Freebie Monday to talk about a topic like that that fits into the new business direction I'm taking, which is to offer people guidance within their business. Because I believe the spiritual world and the business world have very much to do with each other, and that if people function from the highest of good for everyone within their business, then the world would be a much better place. Thank you for watching me, and I'll probably speak to you next week. Bye, everyone.